Hey nerds, what's up? Today I'm filming a review of The Midnight Library, so I'm still trying to figure out how I want the Best Books Club to be on my channel, because we do the Zoom video, but I don't think I like that the Zoom video goes up on my channel. I kind of like the idea that it just is almost separate of BookTube, just because that's why I didn't want it to be a live show either. I wanted everyone to feel like they could come and whatever. So, because I don't want to do that, I still want something that is Best Books Club on my channel. So I was thinking of a vlog, but then a vlog that is just for one book. I don't like filming them because I feel like I could just I don't want to say anything until I finish it. You know what I mean? I'm struggling. So I decided that I'm going to do a review, and I'm going to do my makeup at the same time because I haven't done it yet. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to kind of do it where the makeup matches the part of the book that I'm talking about. So we'll start with non-spoilers, and let's just get into this. My cats are playing, so hopefully you can't hear them thumping around. Okay, starting with foundation, I'm using Arbonne's Perfecting Liquid Foundation, which I need to get a new foundation. I haven't decided if I'm going to stick with this brand or what, but we're going to put this on, and I'm going to tell you what Midnight Library is about. The foundation of the video. Haha, you get it? Midnight Library is about a girl named, oh god, I'm so bad with names, Clearly. I should have looked it up, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to. So it's about this woman who's I want to say in her 30s. It's an adult novel, and she is really sad because just things are not going the way that she thought her life would look, and her cat just died, she just lost her job, all these things are kind of going wrong all at once, and she has decided she wants to end her life and kill herself. So they're starting off, this is huge trigger warning for depression and suicidal ideation and undiagnosed situations, because she's not getting any help in the real world life. The night that she decides to end her life, she is transported to the Midnight Library, where her childhood school librarian is there and basically shows her the book of her regrets, and it's from the biggest, monumental things all the way down to just daily regrets, oh, I wish I'd gone to the gym today, or those types of things. Getting that zit covered because I'm also using foundation that's not quite the right color anymore because I tan and I bought this in the summer. So that is what the story is about. That's kind of the synopsis. This book won the fiction section of the Goodreads 2020 challenges, so I do believe that this is technically categorized as literary fiction. There is a little bit of a fantastical element, obviously, with the fact that she's transported to this Midnight Library where all of the books are her potential lives she could have lived if she had made different choices throughout her life. So that's where we're at. Do I think that this book should have won Best Fiction? That is a difficult answer for me because I don't read a lot of I said historical fiction, I meant literary fiction. I don't read a lot of literary fiction, and I am slowly getting more into the genre, and I do realize that I do like it more than I thought I did. So that's good, and I didn't hate this book. So moving into the foundational basics. So kind of what I thought about the book without giving you spoilers. So if you haven't read it yet, you can still keep watching. I'm going to put on my powder, my bronzer, blush, and my eyebrows. So what did I think about the book? I'm using the Laura Mercier powder. I love this powder. I got it actually in a, for review of, what is that box called? Influencer, I think. But I'm not part of that group anymore, and I'm really sad about it because they gave, like, a whole huge thing of it, and yeah, I like their... They also changed a lot of their rules, and I don't really like Influencer that much anymore. I just don't think it's, like, it's really no longer available to people who, like, don't have millions and millions or thousands and thousands of followers. I'm using the Hoola bronzer, and then I have 2 different palettes that I might use for blush. I haven't decided yet. I have this Phase Zero blush. I just stabbed it. Dang it. I just stabbed it. Which looks like that. Or I have this Morphe palette of blushes. So I don't know which one. I might use this one. This one or this one? Or this one? I'm going to use this one. Okay. And then I have my NYX eyeshadow palette that I'm going to use. So, general thoughts. Okay, so overall I gave this book a 3.5, 4. It might even be a 4. I don't know. It's a 3.5, 4. It's a high 3.5 if it's a 3.5, or it's a 4. I definitely didn't dislike it. I thought it was solid, but I also had some issues with it. I didn't feel like it went deep enough into the, like, aspect of mental health. I feel like for such a serious topic of, like, feeling like you have no reason to live and wanting to die and all this stuff, it felt overall pretty surface level, which is weird to say because, like, the whole book is about suicide and not feeling like you have a good enough reason to be on this earth. And, like, going through all of these different scenarios and figuring out that, like, you do want to live. It's really... I'm obviously going to get more into that when we switch into some spoiler section, but yeah, I just felt like it wasn't quite enough, I guess. But simultaneously, I did really like the whole ambiance of, like, getting to live a bunch of different lives and, like, see how those decisions that you made could have changed your life if you had obviously chosen a different path. And again, I'll get more into that when I do get into the spoiler section, because some of the specific, like, lives that she could have lived were really interesting. And I was nervous up until, like, the very, very end that this book was going to do something I didn't want it to do, because I felt like it was going to give the wrong message. And it didn't do the thing that I didn't want it to do, but I also don't feel like it gave enough focus to what the message overall did go the way that I wanted it to, but, like, I just don't feel like it had enough oomph. I don't know. I'm really struggling with that part of it. So those are some of the reasons that I didn't love it. But again, like, overall, I think the topic is an important one. Like, I think maybe the issue that I had was that although, like, diagnoses and professional help were discussed in some of the alternate lives, they were never really discussed in, like, the life that she really does have by the end, which I won't give away yet, but again, very excited to talk about it in full. So, yeah. Some of the characters that I really liked throughout it were, of course, the main character, like, I empathized with her, and, like, her emotional well-being and everything. But overall, I didn't really love her. But I did really like the last husband that exists in the book. And I really liked the little girl. I really, 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 really loved the boy that is important later in the book. It's like a boy that she has had a bigger impact than she ever thought she would have had on him. That was my favorite plot line. And it, like, wasn't even a big one, I don't think, but it was an important one. So I listened to this on audiobook. The narration was, perfectly fine. It wasn't super outstanding or, like, anything specific that I would want, like, that I would point out, but it was decent that way as well. And overall, the writing style also didn't feel, like, super, like, crazy outstanding or, like, anything to, like, really focus on. But it was fine. Like, I mean, it didn't irk me either, you know what I mean? So, again, I'm still getting used to the whole, like, literary fiction genre. So, like, I also don't know what, like, tropes exist in that section of the bookish world. Why do I feel like this eyebrow looks weird? So, moving into some spoilers. So if you haven't read The Midnight Library and you don't want to be spoiled, then this is the time to go. Sorry, you don't get to see the finished look. Follow me on anywhere where you want to. Everything's linked down below. I'm going to do a TikTok for this makeup look. So that's going to happen also. Okay. For those of you who want to hear all of the thoughts. So, first off, makeup. I have 2 palettes here. Again, don't know which one I'm going to use, but one is a Morphe palette. It's the Warm palette. And I'm going to be doing some blues, so I'm going to stay on this side. Or I have this Pop, Smashbox Pop. I actually really hate this palette. I just don't think it's very, like, user-friendly. Because it has, like, I don't want to get rid of this for some reason. I'm, like, really attached to having the color. Although, like, why would I need to know the colors? But, yeah. I'm definitely going to use this color. So maybe I will stick to just this palette. But I think I'm going to use some of this for the lighter colors. I'm going to do a blue smoky eye. So, haven't done, like, real makeup in a while. Some of the things that... Let's start with, like, the negatives, which I hate to be a negative Nancy, but there were things that I didn't like about this book. So, let's talk about it. So, some of the things that, like, I just didn't love was how... So, whatever her name is. What is her name? I don't even know. Should I look it up? Too late. Too busy. Like, she has all of these... potential big life things, you know? Like the Olympic swimming medal, the rock band, the, like, she has, like, the influencer life. Those are, like, the 2 big ones, though, the rock band and the Olympic gold medalist one. And, of course, like, I understand kind of the point of it, which is that those things don't necessarily make you happy. But it was kind of frustrating to me that there weren't the things that made her sad in those worlds was not like the expectations of, you know, famous life or whatever being not as great, but it was that certain people didn't exist in her life anymore, you know? So, like, did that really teach her anything? It didn't feel like, that would be a regret. So, like, it didn't feel like her regrets would be healed from experiencing that, I guess. Because, again, like, in the rock band one, for example, like, her brother is dead. That's the big key thing. And yes, that I think we see play out in a way that makes sense, and like that would be sad and whatever. But it didn't feel like that in and of itself would mean that she no longer regrets not taking that path. Because it wasn't about that path. It was about the fact that one of the repercussions of something else that has happened up to that point in that world meant, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't seem like the problem was the decision she made that got her into stardom. It seemed like it was just a side effect of it. It was very weird to me. Like, none of the... And the same thing happened with the one where she went... No, okay, that's not true. The one where she chooses to go to Australia with her friend, and then her friend is dead because of her birthday party. Like, that I saw more realistic, I guess. Where, like, obviously I wouldn't want to live that life if it was, like, my fault that my friend died. But then, like, that brings on the whole other issue, which is, like, does that mean that that version of herself should be feeling like she deserves to die? Or doesn't deserve to live? I don't know. Like, the thing that I was talking about earlier in the non-spoilery section, that I was worried that it didn't really go there, but, like, it kind of got close, was the whole idea of, like, I really didn't want her to end up, you know, getting to live a different life than her real one, because that is not how real life works, and I feel like that is not the greatest of messages to the rest of us out here living in the real world. Because obviously we can't control some things are out of our control, like, just straight up. I'm learning that clearly, if you know, like, everything that's going on with me lately. So I don't know, it was a little bit of a weird space to be in, I guess. And I didn't really know, like, what was the goal? And, like, obviously at the end, so, like, okay, I feel like I'm all over the place, but, like, yeah, I didn't feel like this was, like, if I used to work in a residential for teen girls, right? And some of them were dealing with the issue of wanting to die, wanting to hurt themselves, not feeling like they were worth this life and stuff. And I didn't read this book feeling like it gave the girls that I've worked with in the past any hope. I didn't feel like it had any sort of lesson of things get better at all. It didn't have that, which I think is what was weird to me. We see in some of the worlds that she has had experience with seeking professional help, and she's, like, on medication, whatever. And within the book, it feels like there's a stigma on that, while simultaneously we're, like, experiencing her in the, like, real first version of herself where she hasn't sought professional help and she's suicidal. So, like, it felt like a dichotomy to me, and kind of, like, hypocritical, that on one hand, we're seeing the repercussions of her not having sought out any professional help, because she's at this moment where she has attempted suicide and she doesn't have any help. But then simultaneously, in the world where she is seeking help, she's like disappointed that she needs the pills. But like, I simultaneously thought that was, I just wish it had been handled, I guess, because I think it's important and understandable that she would like realize that it doesn't matter what world she's living in, she might always need professional help. That part, I think, is important, because that's something out of anyone's control. If your brain is in need of assistance from the medical field, like, hopefully we can all come to terms with that fact and then, like, seek the help, retrieve it, get good help that works, and all of that. But it didn't ever feel like she learned that part. It only felt like we had the initial disappointment that it doesn't matter what life I'm living, I'm always going to need help. Which I think is what I was really disappointed with. You know? Do I like this makeup look? I haven't decided yet. I also just like don't wear makeup like this anymore, so it's like, why are my eyes blue? We've discussed some of the things I was disappointed about in general. Let's talk about some of the specific things that I did like. One thing that I did like was that she met somebody else who has been to his own version of the Midnight Library. I also loved that she almost got eaten by a polar bear. Like, what? That was another one where, like, going back to my initial statement that I made in the very beginning of this spoiler section, is like, she has, I think that the point was this, but I didn't like the point, I think, which is that she had so many different versions of her life that were like over the top, you know, once in a lifetime. Not most people live this type of life thing. And I think that I had an issue with that. I'm using NYX's liquid eyeliner, and then I have the Lash Sensational Full Fan Effect in black, or very black, I think. I think I did struggle with that part of it. I'm not going to be able to talk while I do this. I did struggle with that part of it because I think a lot of people in life in general think that if their life is just normal, boring, then they won't be happy. But I think a lot of us really do seek whatever that normal life looks like. Everyone is so individual and so different that that's going to look different for everyone, but simultaneously, like, we all don't need to be rock stars or fancy glacier specialists or Olympic champions to be happy. And I feel like this book was trying to say that, but I just don't think it got there. I don't think that we really learned that she was going to be happiest. I mean, I guess her happiest life was with her husband and daughter at the end. It wasn't the glacier, and it wasn't the rock star, and it wasn't, you know, whatever. So, like, maybe it did have that, but simultaneously, I was upset that she didn't get that that's not her life. Like, she didn't really get that part. That was told to her by the librarian. I think that, at the end of the day, is really what I didn't like, is that even at the end, she didn't really get it. She was just told, you need to either go back or you're dying. And I really, again, didn't like either that when she does go back, there's no mention of, like, I was suicidal and I need to make sure that I won't be anymore because I need professional help. It was just like, oh, well, I'm not anymore. Like, what? That's not how most people exist. That's not most people's stories. So I think I struggled with that part too. Like, I did like some of it. I don't know. I guess I'm overall, like, kind of conflicted about the book overall. And I've never struggled with suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts or attempts, so maybe I would love to hear, like, some own voices stories on that and see what other people thought of it, if they were, you know, in the right headspace to also read it. Wow, I made my wings different. Better. Overall, those are my thoughts. I mean, it was a little all over the place, but those are my thoughts. I did like it, and I was interested, and I did read this book really fast. I liked the audiobook too, just fine. And I feel like it was trying to do something really important, and I just don't think it quite hit the mark it was attempting. This is the Chiate London Liquid Velvet in Oh Honey. And that's the look. Yeah, so I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. And so far, that's kind of been the experience with the Best Books Club, with the exception of Addie LaRue, that didn't actually win anything from the best books of 2020. So, is it saying something so far? I did read one of the best books, Goodreads 2020 winners that I didn't read for Best Books Club yet. It hasn't won, was The Vanishing Half. And I did really enjoy that one. So, like, there's hope. But so far, the ones that we've been reading just haven't been my favorite. I don't know. But this video is going up on Monday the 15th. The Zoom for Midnight Library is going to be on the 20th. So if you're interested in joining us and discussing Midnight Library, I hope you will. All the Zoom information is down below. It's going to be at 2 p.m. PST. Hopefully as many people as possible can join. And I would love to hear what you guys thought of Midnight Library as well. But until then, I'll see you guys next time. I make videos every Saturday and Monday. Go check out all of my social media down below. Everything's there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. Bye.